Listen, I'm a fan of Amanda Seales. I am, and I have been for a long time. However, I just can't blindly support everything someone says or does simply because I like them. And in her case, most of the time, she's right on and spot on. Even in this segment of the show, she made a lot of good points. But then when she didn't make a good point, it was a terrible point. It wasn't even a point. It was just something terrible that shouldn't even been said. These statements that she made were so flagrant, it's almost making me wonder if she's getting a check from the Council of the Alphabet.
Even if it was a hoax, this is really happening all the time. And even if it was a hoax for the sake of bringing attention to this, then I'm like, that's low-key noble. Like, I'm at my wit's end about us centering situations like this and wanting to make people have to pay.
If Jussie was lying, and let's get this in perspective, you know, like I always say, we struggle with context. So let's talk about this in context. If Jussie Smollett, Juicy Smouye, if Jussie Smollett did this act to bring awareness to the racism that we receive or the discrimination that members of the LGBTQ community receive, then I can halfway get her point. But that's not why he pulled this stunt. He did not pull this stunt for the betterment of humanity. So for her to call it noble is absolutely ridiculous and leaves me thinking that she probably is getting a check from the Council of the Alphabet. A noble act in some weird and twisted way would have been to fake it to bring attention to these issues that we face in society. But that is not why he did it. He did it for the usual celebrity reason. I want attention. I want to be a victim. I want a book deal. I want to go on shows. I just want to be more famous and make more money. Do you all remember that movie, The Life of David Gale? Remember what he did? He faked a crime to get put on death row just to prove how flawed the system is. That's a noble act. Juicy hiring some Nigerians and writing them a check with the fake. Did y'all see the news? Come on, man. He was still holding us up. The whole thing was ridiculous. Like I said before, it was a bad script and a bad move. But I still want to be clear. Jussie did not do it for the betterment of humanity. He did it strictly for himself, period. And when it backfired, now he wants to be a victim. And his supporters want to make him a victim, but he's not a victim. He's an opportunist that failed. I believe that Lee Daniels was going to make a film or thinking about making a film about a gay superhero. And I believe that Jussie wanted the part. That's what I believe. I believe he was going to make himself a real life hero to play a hero in a movie. That's my theory on it, because Lee Daniels was talking about making a film with a gay superhero. It didn't work out that way. And he got exposed. And when he got exposed, supporters like Amanda Seales are focusing on how corrupt the system is versus the system actually figuring out that he was full of BS. So in this case, the system, the justice system, actually worked.
Because Jussie is it is huge nationwide news because he is famous. So if it was a hoax, what do you think is the correct punishment? And do you think he should be punished?
They got murderers on probation, Gina.
Sure. But I'm asking about Jussie Smollett. I'm asking about that because you said it was low-key noble. I just want to understand.
It literally should be like,
he should be applauded?
Damn.
Oh.
They got smacks on the wrist for all these people, and they can't give a smack on the wrist to Jussie Smollett, because they're saying that it's a whole big thing. I don't believe it.
Sure.
And we look at black men who are constantly getting the book thrown at them all the time. All the time. All the time.
But here goes my issue with melanated people and our inferiority complex. You can't commit a crime and then cry because you got caught. Better yet, you can't commit a crime, cry because you got caught, and then cry because white people are getting away with it. That's ridiculous. Don't do crime. You see, I was raised different than you all. My mom put the accountability on me not society. My mom put the pressure on me and not my surroundings. My mom held me accountable and responsible, not my environment. That's how I was raised. Apparently, you all were raised a little bit differently. And you would think we would know better by now because we see the system is rigged. So you mean to tell me we know the system is rigged and we're still participating? You mean to tell me we know it's all corrupt and we are still getting ourselves involved in crime? And you want me to blame white people? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. My advice to anybody doing crime is don't do crime. Because when you are standing in front of that judge, the judge is not going to care what white people do and did. So then Amanda says something that is so ridiculous and literally part of the agenda that I talk about. It's an agenda. And what she says clearly shows you what the agenda is.
Why do you think in our community they are making fun of Jussie?
Because he's gay.
So let me get this straight. People have a problem with Jussie Smollett because he's gay? So were people talking about him before this incident? Were people negatively talking about him before this incident? No. You know why? Him faking a crime is what has people talking about him, not his sexual orientation. What she just said right there was a lie and part of the agenda. This is the agenda. Nobody is upset with Jussie because he's gay. Most folks don't even care. People are talking about what he did, not his sexual orientation or sexual preference.
Dave Chappelle and a lot of people, you know, they say that it's a hoax and things. Do you think that
Well,
that
people
helped
made fun of
attribute
us.
to
We
it?
defended him, and people made fun of us.
I posted about Jussie,
Yeah.
and I got made fun of. I was told
For
to take the
defending
post
him.
down, and it's still there because I still think this represents that we still have to have attention towards people in that community that are dealing with this
Why'd you
every
take it
single
down?
day. I didn't take it down.
Oh, good.
No, I didn't take it
They
down
need to
because
know.
they need to. Yes, exactly, and that's why I'm just saying this example. For Jussie, I want we need justice. We need the right thing to happen. Obviously, we need the truth to come out. But if he did stage a crime, there has to be a punishment for that.
This is the thing.
And
This is
then
what I-
we
this is what
also
I-
need
this is what I
to
need you to know.
have justice for all those crimes that actually did happen.
And there isn't.
Or didn't happen.
Chicago.
He faked the hate crime. That's why people have a problem or had a problem with him. And the funny thing is, people don't have a problem with him. They have a problem with what he did. But this is what the agenda does. It paints a picture with a broad stroke. I could not believe she said because he's gay, just to simplify everybody's intelligence like that. Just to dumb us down like that. Oh, because he's gay. We're just that simple and that stupid and that slow. Come on, y'all. This is the agenda. And Amanda Seales should be ashamed of herself.
Chicago police are putting so much energy to this. Mind you, Chicago
Been saying that.
been going through hell for so long. Chicago police had an entire torture unit.
Yes, I
That
know.
was clandestine from people forever. So for them to be trying to trump this up like it's something of value or so enormous or such an issue that it needs to be handled is a gross misuse of power and justice.
Yes, I understand that.
And we
then-
shouldn't act like it's that. It's the same
And then
thing.
But like I said, I'm starting to believe that she's getting a check. See, the problem with the agenda is it actually holds members of the LGBTQ community faultless. Meaning if a person that's a member of the LGBTQ community gets murdered, they will tell you they got murdered because of their sexual orientation or identification. If a person of the LGBTQP community gets robbed, they will tell you they got robbed because they were a member of the LGBTQP community. And that's just not true. You know why? Because stuff happens to human beings on the planet. Whether you are gay or straight, bi or whatever, things happen to you. So every race experiences crimes that happen to them. But the media and the agenda will have you believe that if anything bad happens to a person of the LGBTQ community, it's because their affiliation. And that is just not true. Members of the LGBTQ community commit crimes just like everybody else. Members of the LGBTQ community do the same things that everybody in society does. They are no different. So to say that when something bad happens to someone from the LGBTQ community, to say it's always something negative about their affiliation or their identification or their sexual orientation or their sexual preference is to say that anything bad happening to them is only at the hands of homophobic people. And that's just not the case, because straight people get killed too. Straight people get hurt too. Straight people get harassed too. Straight people get beat up too. Straight people experience everything negative that society has to offer.
Never be the woman that we are, no matter how gay.
Wendy Williams is in the hot seat once again. This time, it's for comments she made about gay men on Thursday's episode of her show.
This is what's funny to me about this statement. Wendy Williams is entitled to her opinion. That's just her opinion. Wendy Williams is entitled to her opinion. People have opinions about me every day, all day. And I don't run around telling you all that you are Blanche-phobic. I don't run around telling everybody that you are Blanche-phobic. I don't. Because you know why? You all are entitled to your opinions. Wendy Williams gave her opinion about something. That's it. And people have opinions about us every single day. But Wendy Williams is not denying the LGBTQ community any kind of advancement in society. She's not. She is not hindering the progress of anybody in the LGBTQP community, period.
During Hot Topics, Wendy polled the audience to see who plans on celebrating Galentine's Day. She had this to say when men started clapping.
Well, first of all, if you're a man and you're clapping, you're not even a part of this, okay? All right, you don't even understand the rules of the day. It's women going out and getting saucy and then going back home. Yeah, you're not a part. I don't care if you're gay. You don't get a menses every 28 days, all right?
You know why she's not? Because even in the LGBTQ community, there's division. Even in the LGBTQP community, there's division. It's not totally unified. It's unified under a flag, much like America is, but it's still division in the ranks. There's still division. So the same way Wendy Williams feels, I guarantee there are members that feel the exact same way.
You can do a lot that we do, but I get offended by the idea that we go through something you will never go through. And stop wearing our skirts and our heels. Just saying, girls, what do we have for ourselves?
But I digress. I believe that we should start focusing on a person's character and not their skin color and not their socioeconomic status and not their sexual preference, orientation, or identification. And one more thing, tolerance goes both ways. If you want to be accepted, you have to accept. If you want to be accepted, you have to accept. Members of the LGBTQP community have opinions about straight people. But you don't see straight people running around talking about you all are straight phobic. It's possible to not condone someone's actions and still support them. And P.S., dear Amanda Seals, stop letting your emotions compromise your character. Your voice is too big, your message is too powerful, and you have too much to offer the world to allow yourself to be watered down with foolishness. Don't do it. And members of the LGBTQP community, you know y'all love Wendy Williams, so stop. Just stop it. Wait for it. Free Blanche. Get money.